How's it going, y'all? This intersection right here is 6th and Marion, and this is a great little commercial core tucked into an incredible neighborhood, which is what we're talking about today. Country Club Denver. This is a beautiful neighborhood with so much to offer, and I don't know, a pretty good value for what I would say qualifies as a luxury neighborhood. Let's go. How's it going, y'all? Welcome to Denver. My name is Jesse Lynch and I run the hardest working real estate team in the game. We're called Welcome to Denver. You can check out our website, welcometodenver.co. But this YouTube channel is all about helping you find a place to call home here in Denver, and relocations is what we do. It's what we do better than anybody else. It's what we've spent a ton of time. And again, that's what this YouTube channel is here to help you work through. So if any of that sounds appealing to you, then do me a favor, do yourself a favor, subscribe to this channel, click that little bell to get notified so you can see when we're putting videos like this out. Yeah, I don't usually sit down for this part, by the way, but just got a coffee from Novo Coffee and it is not bad. Also, if you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up, saying some kind of comment at all. Have you been to Novo Coffee? Favorite coffee shop in Denver? Maybe something like that. I would appreciate it very much. And as always, if you're interested in working with us, we would love to help. You can go to our website, welcometodenver.co. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in like 30 seconds or less. Or you can just shoot us an email directly to info@welcometodenver.co. They lead to the same spot, so it's totally up to you how you do it. Just once you do it, we'll get the show on the road and we'll get things headed in the right direction. And like I said earlier, this video is about Country Club Denver, which I think if you looked at it on a map and you saw the name Country Club, you would think of something different than it actually is. And now, yes, there is a country club in Country Club Denver and a golf course and all that, but so much of the rest of it doesn't have necessarily like a country club vibe, right? It's an awesome city neighborhood, walkable to shops and restaurants with beautiful homes, great historic homes, as well as, amazing, beautiful new build homes, just tucked into this great city vibe. The walkability to the shop, to me, it's what it's all about. And I really think that just this lifestyle, being able to walk a few blocks to a shop or a restaurant or a cafe or coffee shop, something like that, a patio, to me, that's so much of what a lot of the people that we're helping are looking for. And you can find it in Country Club. And like I said before, luxury feel, but without maybe the price tag of a Cherry Creek or Washington Park and things like that. What do you say? Should we get going? Let's get going. Y'all, one thing I love about Country Club is like how many roads there are that sort of have the boulevard look. This is not one that's divided by a boulevard, but the boulevards between the sidewalk and the street are gigantic, and it makes it feel just very stately, and every home kind of, I don't know, just feels a little more separate, a little more its own thing. And if I turn to kind of go to the middle of the road, you'll see these tree-lined streets and these great big trees, and I don't know, just something about how everything is situated feels super, super cool. Country Club is a neighborhood to the east of downtown Denver by maybe 5 to 10 minutes. It's very, very close to downtown Denver, just east of Capitol Hill. And you'll see it's probably about 30 to 35 minutes from the airport, and it's not huge and it's not extremely dense. Like Capitol Hill to the west is way more dense than here. There's only about 3,100 people who live here in Country Club. By the way, like this tree-lined, just massive street thing, just, I'm a fan. Like I said, to the west of this neighborhood is the Capitol Hill neighborhood. To the north, you have the Cheeseman Park neighborhood, and there's actually a little place called Little Cheeseman, technically within Country Club, just to the south of Cheeseman Park itself. And then to the east, you have Cherry Creek neighborhood. To the south, you have Washington Park neighborhood. It is truly a gem. I guess also the southern border really is Cherry Creek, the creek itself, because a little bit of the neighborhood kind of swoops a little bit lower than you might expect, and then that creek becomes the border. The schools here in Country Club are quite good, the public schools, and you'll find a decent amount of people opting to go for private schools, charter schools, magnet schools, of course, but the public schools here are quite good. You have access to East High School. That is the 11th best rated public high school in all of Colorado, and it's in Denver. Very, very highly regarded school. And then middle schools, you have Maury Middle School, that gets an A-. Bromwell Elementary and Steele Elementary, those both get an A- as well. So for those to be your just default public schools, that is very, very good, and part of what makes this space so desirable. You also have access to other magnet and charter schools. Like I said, DSST is one that I mention all the time, Denver School of Science and Technology. So consider that if that STEM is more up your alley, or up the alley of your child or student. Definitely worth looking into that part as well. But of course, you know, with such good schools, you're gonna have a little bit of a price tag attached to it, but it's not as crazy as some of these other luxury neighborhoods. The sun is so bright right now, but like I said, it's just not as expensive as some of the other luxury neighborhoods. The median sale price is $1.125 million, which is high, definitely higher than the median, but not super crazy for lifestyle and everything that you get out of it. Currently, there's a range of listings, a big range, $825,000 all the way up to just under $5 million. So you can definitely get an epic house here as well. And then of course the owner to rent ratio is actually much in the favor of owners here. 88% of the people who live in Country Club own, only 12% rent. You go one neighborhood to the west or the east, and that changes dramatically. All right, y'all, this is kind of an interesting spot. Right here is Little Cheeseman Park, which is little. Right here is Cheeseman Park, which is pretty huge, actually. Cheeseman is a really used, well-trafficked park here in Denver, and rightly so. It's beautiful. It's got a ton of space and just so much to like about it. And yeah, honestly, this Little Cheeseman, it's maybe 3 city blocks long, 1 city block wide, but also very, very usable. And technically, that is within the Country Club neighborhood, and technically that is within the Cheeseman Park neighborhood. So I want to talk through some pros and cons of living here in Country Club. And yeah, honestly, cons were hard for me because this neighborhood fits my taste almost perfectly. So I struggled a little bit. Number one, access to very, very good schools. 11th ranked high school in the state. To be in a city neighborhood, that is very, very good. Number two, you have access to the Country Club. I don't really golf, it doesn't really apply to me, but that could be a huge pro to somebody who does. Number three, you have some very cute neighborhood spots as far as, you know, grabbing coffee, going out to dinner, hanging out with family or friends or whatever you want to do. Another pro, beautiful homes, like truly stunners, all over the place in this neighborhood. There are many, many, many of them, and they are all around. And the neighborhood has a lot of great character that sort of goes along with it. And I do think that the character and the charm of the homes and the commercial spaces, that's more in line with what I love out of a neighborhood. I think of these as like cafe neighborhoods, you know, the being able to walk, bike, or whatever to a great little little cafe on the corner, maybe a corner store, maybe something, something like that. I love that. And to me, that cafe neighborhood is such a desirable spot, and this definitely qualifies to me as one of those. Another great thing about this place is the streets here. Just the normal streets are these beautiful tree-lined, park-like streets, sort of boulevard parkway style streets, and they're just really, really stunning to drive around, walk around, bike around, etc. Another pro, access to Cheeseman Park. It's a huge park, very loved and very, very well trafficked. So undeniable that being able to go to it so easily is a pro. Another pro, super close to downtown. Of all of these more luxury style neighborhoods that we've been featuring lately, this is one of the closest. Maybe the only other one closer would be Highlands. And yeah, they feel a lot different, but it's awesome here. So easy to access downtown, but it's not just downtown that you can access. All of the neighborhoods around here are awesome neighborhoods as well, and have amenities that you could easily take advantage of. There's Capitol Hill, there's Cheeseman Park, there's Congress Park, Cherry Creek, Belcaro, Washington Park, Spear. You're not that far from Lodell, which is in downtown. You're not that far from Rhino. You're not that far from Baker. It's really, really great. And then to the extent that I can think of any cons at all, it would be that the suburban amenities are not in this neighborhood. You have to leave the neighborhood to get to those more traditional suburban amenities. Personally, I don't really mind that. I will trade character and this neighborhood for having to go an extra 3 to 5 minute drive to get to a Whole Foods or something like that. And then of course prices are high. It's median is over 1.1 million. That's high, higher than the median of the metro, so that counts as a con. But I do think, as it pertains to the luxury neighborhoods, this is on the more affordable side, and I think the value, I probably have said this 2 or 3 times already, I think the value is very, very high here. Another con, I think I'm stretching, is that you're a little further from the mountains than if you were maybe in Sloan Lake or Highland or West Highland or Berkeley or something like that. But it's not like it's that far. But if you're going up skiing, snowboarding, you're a little bit further away. The traffic would, it would bump you out a little bit further on like a powder day or something like that. So last con is just the more generic cons associated with the city. If you can afford a house here, you could also afford probably a very nice suburban house as well. And there are things about the suburbs that are convenient, right? For one, usually wider streets, usually bigger yards, usually attached garages, that kind of thing. Well, here you got narrower streets, you got smaller yards, you got detached garages, and older infrastructure and things like that. But to me, the older infrastructure just comes along with the charm, and it's again a trade that I'm more than happy to make. But that's all I got. I'm curious if you can think of any others, because I'm just kind of a stan for this neighborhood. I just really like this neighborhood. So all right, let me know in the comments and let's keep going. All right, y'all, I wanted to show you a little part of the country club neighborhood where it starts to feel like it's aptly named, right? That luxury really starts coming into play here, and it's beautiful. First of all, this is sort of the entrance to said neighborhood, and even that house behind me is an absolute stunner. But this whole, once you kind of walk through this entryway, everything going on behind me is so beautiful, so manicured, and again, kind of aptly named with the country club moniker. But I want to talk about some spots that you might want to consider if you're liking what you see here in Country Club. And before I do, if you're interested in working with us, we would love to help. This is what it's all about for us. This is what we do every day. We help people match up with, you know, the right neighborhood for them, the right house for them. So if you're moving to Denver, looking for the right neighborhood, the right house for you, for your family, whatever it is, then we would love to help. And if you're interested, go to our website, welcometodenver.co. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in like 30 seconds or less. Or you can shoot us an email directly to info@welcometodenver.co. They lead to the same spot, so it's totally up to you how you do it. We just ask that you do, and once you do, we'll get the show on the road and we'll get you here in no time. Right house, right neighborhood, right price. That's what we do. So let's talk about some neighborhoods that you might want to consider if you're liking this country club, which, by the way, what's not to like? I love this neighborhood a lot. I've got a few spots to consider for the sake of this video, but I have quite a few more come to mind. But just to the north of here is Cheeseman Park. The park space itself is absolutely beautiful. And if you live here in Country Club, you probably would be taking advantage of that park anyway. So if you were, you know, 10 blocks north of here, you'd be in Cheeseman, and your lifestyle wouldn't change all that much. Then there's Belcaro. Belcaro is luxury without a doubt. It's a bit more expensive on the median than here, but not by too crazy of an amount. And then you have Corey Merrill. That is probably a little closer to the same median price as what you would get here in Country Club. And I think you would find that you end up going to a lot of the same stores and restaurants and stuff like that, because again, fairly close by. This house I'm approaching right now is so beautiful. It's truly epic. Another neighborhood to consider, because it has a pretty similar median. It feels like a luxury neighborhood, but it's the price tag isn't too crazy for median prices. Is South Park Hill. It's just to the east of City Park. So again, situated kind of similar to a massive park as we are here in Country Club. All right, now that I'm in the shade, I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty good. Then lastly, I'm gonna say Congress Park. I love Congress Park. It's almost entirely old historic houses. I really love that in a neighborhood. There's a degree of walkability as well. The coffee shops and things like that. That's like, to me, that's it. That's like what I'm looking for in a neighborhood. It fits my taste so extremely well. But last, I'm gonna say actually Washington Park. It's going to be the most expensive of anything that I've mentioned here, but it is an absolute stunner. If you can afford the house that you want in that neighborhood, it's undeniable, so good, and there's a reason that it's expensive. But all right, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.